Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the live session. Today, we'll be discussing practice problems from week 12's content. I'm Poulomi. I'm one of the TAs for the NPTEL Natural Language Processing course. So, we'll be waiting for 5 minutes for everybody to join in, and we'll be starting from 7:05. Good evening. Okay, all right, everyone. Good evening again. So let's get started. So today we are this week. So this week the content was based on sentiment analysis. So the first question that we start with is so among these options, we have to say which of the following are indicator of irrelevance modes. So so please try solving this problem and please post your answers in the chat if you're able to solve it, and then we'll discuss it in a couple of minutes. Okay, so let's discuss this problem. So I see that two of you have answered, Lokesh and Radul. So let's hear from two of you first. So Lokesh, would you like to start?
Yes, ma'am. Evidence which it is not reliable or is not real one. The requires which you for identifying these evidence which are within codes and conditionals and questions. Help us to identify the evidence.
Okay, okay. Um, okay, thanks. Thank you. So Radul, would you like to add on anything to what Lokesh said?
Yes, ma'am. It was given in the slide that RLS modes are those which where the words may not be reliable. So if you look at second option, which is using if as a word. So if statement we use there where um, the thing that we want to convey is not reliable. It's not fully not fully clear one. So that's why and questions mark these are also and more than notes also. That's
Okay, okay, thank you. So let's see. Ghanshyam Yadav has also answered. So would you like to add anything extra to what Lokesh and Radul just said?
Ma'am, it is same. I mean, anything which is of a futuristic nature, which cannot be answered directly, or there are certain conditions which are not true. then this would be report.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I think we have covered all the points. So let's just directly jump on to the solution. So, so as correctly answered by all of you, it's actually four. So we discussed about, so the professor discussed about iris modes in the lecture. So what are these? So these are the words which are not reliable. For example, let's take as this first sentence. So the sentence is, I thought this movie would be as good as The Grinch, but unfortunately it wasn't. So here we see that the person, the speaker, is thinking, and and there's a comparison between Grinch and the current movie, and he said it is he expected it to be as good, but it actually isn't. So here, if we see the word good, it wouldn't be the correct. So it's not a positive opinion. In contrast, it's actually a negative opinion. So these are irrealis modes. So where we have some signals in the sentence, certain words, but the signals that we pick up from those words, those may not be reliable. Okay. And so, what could be certain indicators? It could be conditional markers, such as if. Okay. Uh, just a second. Yeah. So it could be conditional markers. It could be negative polarity items, such as any, anything. It could be like words like certain verbs such as expect, doubt. So uh, so again, these are similar to like negative polarity signals again, or it could be questions, or another thing could be words enclosed in quotes. So these are the different possibilities or different indicators for iris modes. Among these, if we see, the first three of them are covered over here. Okay, so that makes all the three options correct, and so our answer would be four, all of the above. So does anybody have any doubt in this question? I mostly reiterated what the students said. So if anybody else, I forgot to ask. So if anybody else wants to add on anything, they can also unmute and say. If you have any doubts, you can also ask.
When you have a note like this, these indicators are found in a base or sentence.
Hmm.
A whole sentence we consider it as a label, or there's only these words we exclude and we consider the sentence to be something.
Uh, So if you ask me, I think it would be the entire sentence, because at the end we are trying to determine the sentiment of the entire sentence, or the polarity of the sentence itself, right? So everything boils down to that. So even if we remove certain indicators, um, whatever would be remaining would not be sufficient that we land up at a particular sentiment. Sorry. I hope that did that make sense. All right. Any other doubt? Okay, let's move on to the next question. So second question for today is this. Let me just briefly read the question once. So it says that we have been, so let probability of W given C. It is the probability of a word given its rating, and probability of W, it represents the probability of the word in the overall corpus. Now, the task at hand is to analyze the polarity of a word in the given corpus. So we saw in the lectures that we would be dividing probability of W given C by probability of W. So why did we do that? What was the intuition behind this division that we performed? So that is what the question asks. So please try attempting the question once, and then we'll discuss it. So All right, so only one of you have answered till now. So should we go ahead with the discussion or should we wait for a couple of minutes in case any of you are still attempting the question? So please let me know. You can raise your hand or post it in the chat or um, in case you want us to wait. Otherwise, we'll go ahead with the solution. Okay, so I think perhaps we can discuss now. So, okay, so Mradul has answered. Mradul has mentioned that the answer would be two. So, Mradul, would you like to share your thoughts?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not exactly sure about it, but I think that we divide the probability of the word W because for scaling purpose, and since it I think probability of W denotes total probability. So I just think that if we divide it by probability of W, then it will be it will make that probability to be comparable across different words.
Okay, okay, yeah. Um, so would anybody else in the live session would like to add on to what Mradul said? Okay, I think then we'll just discuss the solution. So let's see. The solution is two. So why is that the case? So this is where we were. So when does this formulation come into the lecture? So this is when we were trying to find out how likely is each word to appear in each sentiment class. So let's understand the intuition once. So let's take the word bad and let's see across the different ratings. Say we have the available ratings 1 to 10. Across the different ratings, how many times has the word bad occurred? Okay, so if we see this pattern emerge. Now there could be two things. One thing is that say across say our distribution is itself unbalanced. Say in our distribution itself, we have the number of reviews with one rating is very high and the other ratings are very much fewer. So there's one imbalance that is there, and to count to counteract that, to solve that, to mitigate that problem, we take this. The first step is we take the probability of word given the class. Okay, and when we do this, this problem gets handled. Now, second thing is that another thing is the maybe the word bad or whatever, say any word W, maybe it's just a very frequent word that you observe in any corpus. In that case, that could also give a very over so the estimate that we get would be an overestimate. We also don't want that. So the second step is that we further normalize with this probability of W. So to for as a countermeasure of the later thing that I said. And so as a result of that, we get the scale likelihood, which is this form. Okay. And so, as we discussed, why do we do the division by probability of W? We do that to make it comparable across words. So, irrespective of the fact that the word is very frequent or infrequent, we normalize it so that every word gets more or less an equal importance. Okay. So, 2 is our answer in this case. So, is this clear? Does anybody have any doubt? Then if nobody has any doubt, then we can go ahead with the next question. So the next question is this one. So question 3 is, we have to say among the 4 options given to us, which of the following lexicons are appropriate for balance? Okay, so again, this is like directly taken from the lecture. So I hope all of you would attempt the question. And if you're done, you can post your solution in the chat. We'll discuss the solution in a couple of minutes. Okay, all right, let's discuss this. Two of you have answered this question. So let's start with Ghansham Yadav. Would you like to say why you think option three is correct?
Ma'am, as per the slides given in the lecture material,
Mhm.
uh, there is this mention of presentness, especially in terms with the stimulus given to correlated with this balance. So based on that, there are certain happy foods and sad foods which are mentioned in the slide. So based on that, I have opted this happy and satisfied, though I am not very much sure.
Okay, okay, all right. And Lokesh has also answered. So Lokesh, would you like to add anything else?
No, I'm happy for this. From the slide, I just that's to presentness of also some.
Okay, okay. So let's discuss maybe we can like does anybody
Madam,
yes.
I'm watching the video from the mobile,
Okay.
so I'm not able to find how can I answer the question.
Or you
Same problem I had in the last week also.
okay, so you can just simply post your answer in the chat. So there's the chat box there, right? So if you know the know the solution, you can simply just paste the option in the chat and you can send it.
Yes, I know chat box, but chat box is I don't know where it is.
Um, it's just a second.
Mobile.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. So actually, um, okay, let me just check in a second and let me tell you. Um, So there would be an option, maybe in at the bottom of the screen there would be a rectangular box sort of thing. There, I think you can.
Can I send my screenshot? There's no option.
Um, there would be.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
may I interrupt? Ma'am?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, there is one hand symbol. I think somebody wants to raise some point. So
Mhm.
next to that, there are three dots. When Murthy sir will be clicking those three dots, then there is an option in call messages wherein he can type and post his answers.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you. So, could you please try this once? I think this would work. Please let us know if it. Yeah, yeah. I think he's able to post. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's discuss. Um, so, the answer is three. So, as correctly mentioned by all of you. So, again, so what does valence mean? It means the pleasantness of the stimulus. So, under that, one could, so there could be lexicons with high valence scores, say 9. There you have words such as happy, pleased, satisfied, contented, hopeful. Also, you can have words with low valence scores, such as 1. So those would include words such as unhappy, annoyed, unsatisfied, melancholic, despaired, or bored. So this is like so this just you have to just select the words accordingly. So I think I don't think there's anything I can further explain, but so just like here, happy and satisfied was there, so it's directly taken from here. So these have high valence score, and that is what was asked in the question. So that is why option three is correct. I hope that made sense. Um, yes, Lokesh has raised his hand. Yes, Lokesh.
And is there any rationale to how do we relate these words to valence?
Uh, how do you relay these words to?
Valence are also dominance.
It was there in one of the slides. Just a second.
And it's just example as is, but even all these words combined it will be difficult to identify this expression.
Okay. One thing that you can observe, I'll just go on to a slide next and say, one thing you can observe is for valence, you see, it's really very positive polarity words over here. Right? Happy, please, your strong positive polarity words. Whereas, again, given the fact it has a valence score of 9, and again over here, when the valence score is 1, it's again very strong negative polarity words, unhappy, annoyed. So there are very direct symbols. So valence is again a measure of the intensity as well, right? Intensity. So here it's mentioned pleasantness. So I remember in one of the slides, let me just share that. Just give me a second. I'll take up that slide. Uh, So this slide was there in the lectures, right? So where we discussed valence versus arousal dimensions. So here, see on the valence dimension. So on one hand, we have these values, okay? So where we see that on this, so on this side, we have these values which are anger and sadness. On the other hand, we have excitement and relaxation. So these had high valence values. So there again, like excitement means you're very, it's again a very strong and intense polarity, given that irrespective of the fact that it's like there's maybe you do not know the exact polarity, but it's the measure is high. Okay, whereas yeah.
Quadrants also like we want to place this hopeful and content
Mm-hmm.
split among these quadrants also.
Yeah. Even for me as well. Yeah, I understand. Putting a number to it, you mean, right? How much, where it stands on the axis or somewhere that you're asking.
Yeah, at least where do we coordinate it? This plan.
Okay. Um, so for that, I think either you can refer to there was some. sentiment lexicons that we're discussing in the lectures, either it would be given, it's not like, or maybe it would be human annotated. It's not like something we have to break our heads and think, okay, this would be how can I rate this from a value of 1 to 10? So it would be given somewhere. Okay,
Yeah,
so
value is fine, but given words,
hmm,
just we have to remember all the possible words to classify them as the answer and others.
okay, I don't think you have to remember. Okay, let's see. Let's take a few of the examples. I think there are other. Uh,
Yeah, overall this weeks actually many places that it's not a definition.
hmm,
Just they relate the words to
okay, yeah, I mean,
things.
yeah, I mean there is a bit of ambiguity in things. So 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 these would be like given a words. Even if I take excited, okay, so it could have three different dimensions. It could have a values dimension, it could have a arousal dimension, it could have a dominance dimension, three dimensions. So one word, say excited, we understand now it would be a high valence word. And we see it has also high arousal value. Whereas if we think about dominance, I think it is still, I mean, if you ask me, I think it would still have a high value, but it's not mentioned over here. Um, but it's like you can think it as um, say when we're talking about word embeddings, right? We came across words such as maybe see this is becoming a bit we're diverging, but we remember we had the words king and queen. So there also we have different dimensions, right? One is that okay, so given that they're powerful people and they also have one is male, one is female. So like that we have different dimensions on which we were um, describing words. Okay, here also it's like given a word with a particular polarity, I can have different dimensions.
Thing is this excited to be
Hmm.
considered as variance.
Yeah, I think it can come under variance. So here also we saw, sorry, uh, here also we had excitement, right? Excitement. So you see valence is over here. So valence, excitement is a high valence value. It has high pleasure. See? Yeah. It's like different dimensions, and along each dimension you can have words. Some would be common, some would be uncommon, and based on these you can describe a word. And
There's no clear but straightforward, I mean to say, formula definition or grammar to say that. Like,
no, no. The only starting point would be the sentiment lexicons. Other than that, nothing is available. Other than that, if anything you have to do, you have to do it on your own or you have to figure out some algorithm. Otherwise, we can't just simply take a word and say, okay, this is 9 and this is 1. So that would incorporate a human bias. So for me, happy would be 9, say. For you, happy could be 8 also. Okay. So when a human is annotating, just a second. So just a second. So this thing could be varied. Okay. So a human describing,
Excuse me,
yes,
ma'am, in page number 47, I think there are some examples.
here, yeah,
Yes, please. Can you please explain that?
these. So these
Yes,
are again like scores given to each of the. So vacation has valence score of this. Arousal has for rampage the score is 4.56. For self the dominance score is 7.74. So this is the scores given to each of the things. Um,
is
so
there any measure for it?
is there any?
Measure for it? I mean, how they measure it?
I think it's perhaps been taken from this from here. So just a second. What is the name of this corpus? So I think it's taken from LIW. So maybe if you can check once. So yeah. you can check once over there, possibly these scores are given. I mean, maybe they have used different techniques to come up with this. So they had 2,300 words, and from there, I think they also had 70 different emotion classes. Okay, based on that, these words were classified, and each of them were given a score. We saw this diagram. After that, this is the same thing, right? Same lexicon.
My worry is they don't examine us to the words among these either to evaluate the balance very well.
Pardon, I did not get you. Could you just repeat once?
Will we get a questions on these in examination asking for
Va-
to classify them into valence, algorithm dominance, or give the value for the valence, value for the words, nothing to say.
Value won't be asked. Value, no particular value would be asked, but as we did in the example question, right? They could ask words which could be associated with a particular emotion dimension. That could be asked. But that you can like, I think if you just like, I think that I think is solvable, perhaps.
Okay.
Yes. Um, okay. So any other doubts? Okay, just a second. So I think Mradul, you had asked questions about this slide, right? So I mean, so it's just taken from the corpus itself. So if you see, so they say that they give ratings for 4,000 words for emotional dimensions, and they have these three dimensions: valence, arousal, dominance. We just discussed that. And now say these are the examples. Now, if you take this word, it has a valence score of this. Just the word and the corresponding scores are listed in this slide. Okay. That is what I think. So is it okay? And others can also like join in. If others in the chat would like to add on to anything, they can also say. Um, I hope it's okay. Let's go on with the next question. Mm, yeah. So we have to say that among these four options, which is or are false. So it's again based on different polarity and emotions and different processes. So please try solving this question once and we'll discuss it in a couple of minutes.
Madam, multiple choices?
Yes, multiple choice. Okay, let's discuss. So, a lot of you have answered this question. So, let's start from people who haven't answered yet. So, we have Sita Lakshmi. So, uh, would you like to comment on why you think one, two, three are correct? We'll go in a backward manner. So then we'll ask others as well.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Yes.
Ma'am, relaxation. Fourth option. Relaxation is an example of low arousal and high pleasure, ma'am. Already, you previously had explained. Sad, bad, and problem represents the negative emotions, ma'am.
Okay.
Second one also same love and sweet. These are the affective processes. Perhaps and guess here they are mentioned don't belong to cognitive processes, but these two are belonging to a cognitive process, ma'am. So that's why I given 1, 2, 3 are the false statements.
Okay. So why is the first statement false? You think?
First statement.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. It is correct, madam. Sorry. Bad and problem represents negative emotion, ma'am. It's correct,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 2, 3 are the options, ma'am.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. Thank you. So let's ask SS Bharti next. Would you like to add on something? Any other details would you like to mention?
Madam, in cognitive processes, two things are important, that is ventricular inhibition, and that's why the third option is false because perhaps this belong to cognitive processes. That's why I thought third one is the answer for this question.
Okay. Okay.
And about all the others are that means option number 1, 2, and 4. These options are true.
Okay. Yeah. I think that covers most of the points. Others had also answered. Let's ask. So others, others in the live session, would you like to add on to what Sita Lakshmi and SS Papi mentioned? Please join in and mention if you have to say anything.
Now, about one, I feel it is false statement actually. Just by the words mad and problem, and derive it as a negative emotion. There could be negation words in context with friends and lead to a positive emotion.
Yeah, but that is the property of a negation, right? If itself the words are there, right? So that is like if you incorporate a negation, then the sentiment would get the polarity would get reversed. Otherwise, these are true to its meaning, right?
So just given the words, we can say it is negative.
Okay, yeah. Given if you're just given bad, you're not given not bad. You're just given bad. What does it mean? It means that it's something is not good, right?
I was thinking in the context of the sentence.
Yeah, yeah.
Not just derive it based on the words or language. The reason I choose one as a false.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Even Sir had discussed one of these points, I think, in one of the lectures where we were appending this not and we were processing the sentences in case of a negation, but that is specific. That becomes very specific if you're like when you're thinking that there is a negation, but when nothing is mentioned, we can't assume that. So in that case, just given the words simply, so we can consider them to be negative emotions itself.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, I have a doubt in option 2 and 3. We have
Yes.
mentioned processes. So, both would be suitable if we are writing emotions, ma'am?
I think processes is also like a valid terminology because like even it was discussed in the lectures as well. So it's taken from the lectures only. So we'll see. So it's valid. So processes we can use those terminologies.
Okay, ma'am.
Anything else? Okay, let's discuss the official solution ones. Okay, so this again we came across, so when we're studying sentiment lexicons, over there we had come across this LIWC, which is one of the lexicons which are available. So under that, we saw that they use this concept of affective processes and cognitive processes. So in affective processes, we have different emotions. So we have positive and negative emotions. And the negative emotions, we have words such as bad and problem, which were there in this question, right? So these words actually represent negative emotions. So this is a true statement. And we also have positive words such as love, nice, and sweet. Okay, so this comes here. And we also have cognitive processes such as tentative. And we are like when there's a tentative notion attached to your sentiment. So it could be like words like maybe, perhaps, guess. So these come under cognitive processes. So here we see, so this was option three, right, which mentioned that perhaps and guess don't belong to cognitive processes, whereas they indeed belong to cognitive processes. So that makes the statement false. Okay. Also, yeah, this one, option two, we left out. So here, love and sweet, they come under positive emotion, and that comes under the class of affective processes. We saw over here, right? Love and sweet. Okay, they come under affective processes. So we discussed these. The last one would be repetition, but let me just still see. Let us still see. So relaxation comes under low arousal and high pleasure. So this is the dimension. If you see, this is the dimension. So this is again, this is true. So that gives us only option three is incorrect, and so that would be our answer in this case. So is this clear? Yeah. Yeah. Could you just repeat? I did not catch who was speaking.
No, question is only three, right?
Question is only three. Yes.
Yeah.
Any other doubt on this question? Okay. So maybe we can go ahead with the next question for today. It's question number. So yeah, this is the solution. Answer is three, and so we will discuss this already. So now we come to question number five. So it is about the Turney algorithm. So among these options, we have to mention that which of the options are correct. It's again a multi-choice question. One or more could be correct. So please try solving this question once, and we'll discuss it soon enough. Okay, let's discuss this question. So I think only Lokesh has answered. So, Lokesh, would you like to comment on your answers?
Yes, yes. NLP can be used to identify the
Mhm.
phase polarity of the center
Yeah.
of member.
Okay.
This is my element. As we learned earlier, the products used to measure performance.
Okay. Okay. But one question I would like to ask is, are all the like so one thing is that we need to be specific about turning algorithm. So are all the three options related to turning? Some things are much more generalized.
Yeah, in Japan, I don't see this analysis.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Otherwise, my and base color is that
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
this test to it because it's a subset.
yeah, correct. Yeah. Both. Yeah. Um. So would others also like to add on to what Lokesh said? Okay. So let's discuss that. Mm, yeah. So the answer is one in this case. So let's see why. So where did we come across the Turney algorithm in the lectures? So that. I think in the third or the second or the third lecture, we were seeing that given that how do we learn? So in the second, I think second lecture we saw like semantic lexicons which are already available, which you can make use of. But say if you want to do something for your own language, or maybe you want to extend it to Indian languages. So there we saw this different algorithms where if you want to learn lexicons on our own without performing any manual labeling of any word, so how do I get that then without manually labeling each word with the sentiment polarity, uh, it, leaving that aside, how do I form the lexicon? So like we were looking for a more automated process. There we came across this Turney algorithm. So there we do not start with any when we directly start with the data, we do not have any labeled data set or something. We do not have any labeled words marked with their polarity or emotions. We just have the data, and then they are governed by this hypothesis that if we take noun phrases or words which have some sound, so there were different. So noun phrases are very generic thing. In the slides, we could see that there were certain specific manual patterns that the, uh, the inventors of Turney algorithm found out. Based on that, they started with the review data sets because most of the time when we're talking about sentiment, the first thing that comes to our mind is reviews, right? So they also, guided by that intuition, they started with review data sets, and from that, they first extracted a phrasal lexicon. So once that was done, once they had so that was the thing. So first they collect say the phrasal lexicons. Once that is done, then it's like we need to learn what is the polarity of each of the phrases, and finally we need to rate the review by the average polarity of his phrases. Right. So here we saw so pointwise mutual, we just go to the slide and see where this is coming. So we use pointwise mutual algorithm in one of the steps of the algorithm to find the polarity of each of the words. So Jaffat coefficient, like as we were discussing a while back, it's not so it can be used to measure the co-occurrence, but it's not it was not specifically applied to a Turney algorithm. So this is used for phrase polarity tasks. So this is mostly used to learn the lexicons. Okay. Learn the lexicons without performing manual annotation. And fourth option is like it's saying that learns polarity of only a subset of the phrase in the corpus. That is not good. Does it in the entirety. So we get that only option one is correct. So let me just jump onto the slides for a second and show the points. What's wrong with the third statement is this is used for phrase polarity tasks. Okay, so here our main intention in Turney algorithm is that we are trying to learn lexicons. Given just the raw data, how do I come up with lexicons? Like it is one of the steps. Like first we are finding the phrases, then we are marking the polarity, then we are taking the sentiment. So phrase polarity is the second step to be just a second. So if you see over here, in the second step, we learn the polarity of each of the phrases. Okay, so this is one of the steps. But in the overall algorithm, we are just trying to find out phrases, their polarities, and the corresponding sentences. So, like as we saw in one of the derived lexicons a while back, right, the LIWC, where we saw that these were the words, these were the value scores, these were the arousal scores. So that was readily available to us. Now, if you want to do that for a new language, say, what would we do? This is an automated sort of algorithm where we do this, where we find the lexicons itself. Yeah. But, yeah. So here we were discussing the Turney algorithm, right? So let's see first. In the first step, we said that we were extracting the phrasal lexicons. So, the individuals who invented this algorithm, so they came up with the manually searched the data and said that okay, let's come up with certain patterns, and based on that, they were extracting. So, say the first word is an adjective, second word is noun, and third word is anything, not anything. It could be anything. In that case, you would extract that phrase. So that would be a phrasal lexicon that you obtain. Similarly, second would this is a this is a verb, right? RB, I forgot what it is. Probably it's a verb, but I might be wrong. And this is again JG is adjective, and third word is not NN or NNS. Okay, so in that case, again, we found another valid phrase which we can extract. So this is one. This was the first step. Okay, where we extract a phrasal lexicon. Second one is we're learning the polarity of each phrase. So how do we measure the polarity of each phrase? So here they came up with this intuition that let's say positive phrases that are there, they would co-occur with words, co-occur more with excellence. So um, they were so again they're using the co-occurrence measure as a to see that. So I now have the phrases. I sure shot know that excellent and poor. Excellent has positive polarity, poor has negative polarity. Now I see the co-occurrences of each of the phrase with the word excellent, with the word poor, and if a phrase occurs with excellent more often, it's with natural that it would have a positive polarity. So that is there. So now to here to measure the co-occurrence, we use the pointwise mutual information. Okay. So this was the formulation. Now what they did was at that time, just a second. Okay. So at that time, this was a search engine that was available to them. So instead of just taking corpus and finding the co-occurrence count, they rather just search. So maybe they took the word and they searched it over the internet. They saw what are the number of hits that they're getting, and they use the number of hits as a measure uh, of the co-occurrence. Okay. We usually use counts in count of the words in the corpus as the frequency value. Here they're using hits as the number of hits as the frequency. So that is the difference. So here PMI is coming into the picture to measure the co-op. Okay. So that was so that is where that is the importance of that is where the pointwise motion information comes into the Turney algorithm. So so that gives us the answer. So option one is correct. Does anybody have any doubt in this question?
But somehow we have about the whole company algorithm, right? All steps of the algorithm.
Mm-hmm. Turney algorithm, yes.
So learn polarity of each species. So this slide definition also is there.
Mm-hmm.
The first statement is
Yeah.
use per phrase
Phrase
polarity.
polarity task. So it is one of the steps in the curation of the data, I would say. So say you are just it's a random example. Say you have a data set, right, and you're performing say some task, a sentiment analysis, and before that you do this pre-processing step or some step where you filter out stop words or something. So it's like a step in the algorithm. Ultimately your final effort is oriented towards creation of the data set. But in order to have the data set, I need the phrases, I need the polarities as well. So both of them are constituents. So that would be here, but in entirety, this is not the only thing that we're doing. A final thing is we would have phrases and we would have their polarities with them. So both of them is there. Okay. In case there aren't any more doubts, we can go on to the next question. So question number 6 is so So sentiment lexicons can be learned using intuitions such as so, and we can. So this is again from a co-occurrence perspective again. So from we study distributional hypothesis in few initial weeks. So based on that, you can answer this question. So this is again taken from the slides. So please try attempting this question. We'll discuss it in a couple of minutes. Sorry, there was a internet connectivity issue at my end for a brief second. I hope audible now and my screen is visible. Oh, sorry, I was muted. So there was a internet connectivity issue at my end briefly. So I think because of that there was some concern. So I hope I'm audible now and my screen is visible to everyone. Okay, okay. So please try solving this question and we'll discuss it. So here the idea is again like we have to use the ideas of co-occurrence and also like the basic intuition of distribution hypothesis maybe and use that to solve this question. So, as you will solve this question, I would also request you to meanwhile think of certain topics that you have come across in all these 12 weeks, which you need a revision on which you need which you need further problem solving on. So there would be an extra live session on Wednesday, uh, mostly from 7 to 9 p.m. again. So there we would be it would be like a revision summary session. So there we'll take up those topics. So you can think them meanwhile. I'll ask at the end of the session if what topics you all want to be discussed and we can take them up in the live session, extra one. Okay, all right. So I think we can discuss this question, and or else we can wait for a few more minutes if anybody is still attempting the question. Should we wait? Just let me know by raising your hands or posting them in chat. Okay, I think we can discuss. So I think two of you have answered. So let's start with SS Bartlett. So you've mentioned option three. So let's hear from you once.
Madam, if two words are connected by and, then uh, then both words have the same polarity. And two words are connected by what word? Then both words are both words have opposite polarity. So that's why I thought option three is the correct.
Okay, could you think of any example?
Dogs and cats are two types of animal.
Okay.
Which, and this is a building, but nobody lives there.
Okay. Okay. So yes. So would the others in the chat also like to add anything else? Please feel free to share your thoughts. Okay. So I think let's discuss the solution then. So this is again, when we were studying this in the lectures, and this answer is three. So as Mrs. Babu mentioned, so the context in which we were studying this in the lecture was again when we were trying to automate the process of learning lexicons without any manual annotation. So there itself this came up. So the idea was, say, we took intuition from the concept of distribution hypothesis. So what it says that if you think about, so when do words of the same polarity, like, or how and what scenarios do words of the same polarity occur together, or same, how do words of different polarity occur together? So there we can think of such words such as different conjunctions, so such as and but. So when we think of and, we usually mention words which have the same polarity on both ends. So adjectives which are conjoined by and have the same polarity, such as fair and legitimate, corrupt and good. So here we only know that fair and legitimate have the same polarity, but however we are not aware what the polarity is. We just know they have the same polarity. Similarly, for corrupt and brutal, they again would have the same polarity. And this is usually the case when we have the conjunction and in between two adjectives. Similarly, when we have the word but in between two adjectives, such as fair but brutal. So here, fair and brutal would usually have the opposite polarity, different polarity. We cannot like assign an individual polarity to each word at this stage, but we have this sort of a information that we can obtain from if the word but is there, that they have opposite or different polarity. This is and the same polarity but is different polarity. So from that we come to the solution that same polarity words are connected by and, true. Opposite polarity words are connected by but two. So that makes both option 1 and 2 correct. So that is why our answer is 3. Um, so is it clear? Does anybody have any doubt in this question? Any doubt? Okay, I think it's clear to everyone. We can go ahead with the next question, which is question number 7. So here again, we have to say which of the following statements are true among these four. So, so I would like all of you to just attempt this question once and please post your answer in the chat. We'll discuss it in a couple of minutes. Okay. So I think we can go ahead with the discussion. Um, Lokesh has answered. So Lokesh, would you like to unmute and say how you approach the problem? Hmm. Yep. Hmm. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. Um, so would others in the live session also like to add on anything else? Okay. So I think let's discuss the facial solution then. So it's 1-3. So first statement is emotions are instinctive and usually short-lived, whereas sentiments are more stable and valid for a longer period of time. So this is a generic statement. So and also like applied to our field of study. So based on that, you can come up with the fact that first statement is true. Third statement is true as we discussed, I think, in the last problem itself. So that was done. What about the second one? So what is the polarity shift technique? Because we saw in the lectures that say we have the word say excellent, which has a value of say 5, and now if we say not excellent, so we're having a negation. So should not excellent have a value of -5? So would that be a valid thing? We saw that it's not a valid thing. So instead, if we just do a polarity shift, where we say take a particular number, which would be well studied, and we simply subtract it. We simply subtract it. We do a polarity shift. We saw that that is a better way to handle negations and intensifiers. So negations is not, and intensifiers is like very very good. Something is very excellent. How do you handle such cases? So there polarity shift technique stands, and not to handle normalization problems. That is why option 2 is false. So we have 1 and 3 which are the correct options. So that would be our answer in this case. So does anybody have any doubt on this question? Normalizing comes up. So we saw it in one of the previous problems. Here, remember this problem? So here we're performing two normalizations. First, we're performing normalization because there could be a class imbalance. So take that into account. Say, given a data set of 1,000 reviews, maybe 500 of them are one rating reviews. So that is a major class imbalance. So for that, we perform one normalization. Second one was that maybe a word is frequent, so maybe frequent in a particular language, and it has nothing to do with the rating or the polarity. So to take that into account, we did normalization against across different words. So there, so these are the two normalizations. Hmm. Yes. Because otherwise the estimates that you would give would not be reliable ones. You would be overestimating it. So if say 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 take the word bad itself, right, and say in if your data set of 1,000 reviews, uh, 500 are one rating reviews, so bad would be very frequent. So bad is a negative emotion. It would be present in most of the one rating reviews. So you get an overestimate of the word bad. Okay, and that would not be an accurate value. Because so it is the actual value, but whenever we are using using data to get an empirical estimate. Okay, data is only for that. So actual. So in that case, if you then you could have say a data set where all the classes were equally present. That you can do. However, when you're dealing with words, you can't do that. You can make sure that each and every word is uniformly present. That you can do. Words occur with different frequency. and some are frequent, some are infrequent. So we need to take that into account. So we are like, well, so these are all like things that we're doing. These are again statistical estimates. So when we're doing that, we uh, usually perform normalization so that we don't overestimate or underestimate, so that we get a reliable measure for that. Mm, yes, somebody has muted. Any other doubts? Okay. Okay, so let's go on to the next question then. Sorry. We are here, right? So yeah, so the next question is this. So we have the sentence, the sound was cool, but the network quality and screen were very dull. So given this sentence, we have to say which of the following statements are true. Specifically, we need to extract the aspect, sentiment, and the opinion of the different things that are there in the sentence. So please try attempting this question once. We'll discuss it in a couple of minutes. Okay, so let's discuss this question. So three of you have answered, Lokesh, SS Bharat, and Radul. Let's start with SS Bharat this time. So would you like to unmute and say?
Madam,
Yes.
aspect is the term on which the sentiment is based. So, in the given example,
Mm.
time is clean. These two terms are the aspects, and on these terms we can give the opinion. That's why I think option one and two are. And there is the work, so option number three is in.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's Lokesh and Mradul, would you like to add anything further? Okay. Mradul, anything?
Um,
Okay. How about others in the live session? Would you like to add something? All right, let's discuss the official solution then. The answer is 1 and 2. So let's see what it is. So if we take this first part, the sound was cool. Here, sound is the aspect, okay? And sentiment is positive. Why is it? Because of the word cool. So that is the opinion phrase. So that gives us the first option. The second one is we have the network quality and the stream. Both were very dull. So here we have two aspects. One is the network quality, one is the stream. However, network quality is not there in any of the options. We have stream though in the second option. So here the aspect is stream, and the opinion phase is very dull. Very dull is a negative sentiment. So we have this aspect stream sentiment, negative opinion phase, very dull. Third one is where is a verb, and it's not dealing with any aspect. So third option is incorrect. So option one and two are the correct ones. So that gives us our answer. Does anybody have any doubt? Um, an object would usually be a noun, not necessarily not necessarily an object, but a noun denoting some entity. So yes, even sir had discussed the example of camera, I think, in the lecture, right? So camera would have the lens, it would have whether it's lightweight, or whether you can, and so even there was an example whether you can fit it in your pocket or not. So that is, so those would be different aspects, different qualities, or different entities of an object. Um, I think, does anybody have any other doubts? All right, let's go on. So this is the last problem for today. So it is again a very similar question, similar to the last one. So here the sentence that we have is the environment was great, however rent was very costly. So in this sentence, we have to say that what are the aspects, what are the sentiments, what are the opinion phrase, very similar to the last question. This, I think this time all of you would be able to attempt this question. So we attempt it, we will then take it up in a couple of minutes. Okay, let's discuss this question. So, let's see, all of have answered. Yeah, okay. Um, let's start with Srita Lakshmi. Would you like to say?
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, environment and rent words are there in the sentence, ma'am. So one and two options are correct, but there is no price word in the sentence. So answer is four, ma'am. A and B are correct.
Okay, okay. Um, I think, okay, Nadul has also mentioned first. Nadul, would you like to say something?
Yes, ma'am. I think the word that are not there in the statement, we can't take it. So, aspects related also related to the sentence. But, I mean, price is related to the sentence. Like, it's not mentioned over there. So, I think we will not answer out.
Okay, okay. Um, okay, so next is SS Vapu at answer. So SS Vapu, I think one, two, three are all of them are correct. So would you like to share? While you
Yes.
listen? Yeah.
Environment and place, both words are present in the sentence.
Yeah.
Price is not present, but price is the implicit aspect. That's why I think 1, 2, 3 are correct.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. So mm, I think we covered all the points. Still, would others in the chat could also others in the live session would also like to add anything else to what we just discussed? Okay. I think the points were all covered. Still, let's just see what the solution is. The solution is 1, 2, and 3. So, as Sis Bhapi said, so here price is an implicit aspect. So, here when we say that the rent is very costly means we're talking about the price. A similar example is there in the lectures also, where Sir said, I don't remember what it is. So, the object as X was very expensive. So there also expensive, when we're talking about expensive or costly, there we are implicitly talking about the price. So that so three was a point of confusion, right? So that is why I'm specifically focusing on that. So here price would be an aspect, and it's said that it's very costly. So that's the opinion phrase, and the sentiment is not. So three is correct. One and two is obvious. So let me just discuss it once. So the sentence is the environment was great. So that aspect is environment. Great is the opinion phrase. Sentiment is possible since it's great. And the rent, and second is the rent was very costly. So here we're also talking about the rent. The rent is very costly. So that is the opinion phrase, and the sentiment will be negative. So all three would be correct. So that gives us 1, 2, 3 are correct. Does anybody have any doubt on this question? Mm.
Water was cold.
Mm-hmm.
This is bottle.
Water was cold. Depends on the context. So this was also, I think, discussed in the lectures. Um, huh. You see here. So say we take the word large, right? So it could be both positive or negative depending on what am I describing. So if I'm describing a large screen, yes, if I'm describing a large screen, it is okay. It's good. It's a positive sentiment. Whereas if I'm saying a large battery, it is usually like it's connotated with the negative sentiment, possibly. I think this is a better example. So if we take the word long, so long battery life is good, whereas long loading time is not good, right? So yeah, this could be an example.
So this sentiment analysis and all we have to do. supervised algorithm?
Sentiment analysis. So it's mostly supervised algorithms. So I think initial lectures discussed about this holder and then the target and then the aspect. So all those in all those dimensions, different things are there. So aspect is a good or opinion summarization, aspect related sentiments, all those things. Supervised algorithms mostly are there. Yeah. Also, I would like to ask, so we have 5 more minutes. Could you all just suggest topics that you would like to be discussed on the extra live session? Mm.
Whatever we learn not to use, whatever learn for the conversions,
Okay. Anything specific?
because experimental is
Yeah, yeah.
cost of abilities, stuff, so not repeated across other sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Easy and we start again with the long they can discuss topic and then some of them.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we can do that. How about others? Okay, Professor Bhatia has mentioned pass tree, NST passing. So the dependency passing that we call the things that were there, those you're mentioning. Okay, okay. Yeah, we can take that up as well. Anything else? Formula based questions. Okay. So we can also discuss a few questions as well. Yeah.
I mean, there's no chance we get formulas. We have to remember all the formulas.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Is there any coding aspect of it will be there in the question?
No, 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 no.
Only conceptual and numerical.
Yes, yes. So, any other topics? So we have got like so we'll be discussing a few uh, questions, maybe some of the topics we'll revise. We'll also focus on dependency passing. Other than this, what else? Anything else? So it would be again a 2 hour session only. So let me know if you want me to cover anything else.
Of course, it will be confusion matrix will be covered.
Confusion matrix would be
I left that one of the top.
confusion matrix. Okay, we can discuss confusion matrix also. Yeah, it is found fundamental. Yeah, we'll take up confusion matrix also. Confusion matrix, precision, lead cost, all these things maybe we'll take up. I think that gives us a sufficient number of topics. Um, okay, we'll discuss those then. All right. Does anybody have any other question? Uh, Otherwise, we'll conclude the session for today. Any questions?
Madam,
Yes.
in lectures,
Hmm.
3 algorithms are discussed for the sentiment analysis.
3. What is discussed?
3 algorithms are discussed for sentiment analysis. That is,
Oh.
first is a lexicon based,
Mhm.
second memory based algorithm, nothing but the machine learning algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And one is a turning algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
So which is best among these two?
Um, so, um, so right now I would say that to check the current state of sentiment analysis, there have been other algorithms proposed. Maybe you can just try searching one. So you're saying about like the learning the lexicons and all, right? So those are a bit different right now, but among the ones that have been proposed, I think we have a mix of simple and complex algorithms. The most simple ones would be the ones where we use conjunctions. So that is simple algorithms are also good. So we can use those. Even turning algorithm, I would say, is it also has a bit of manual thing, but you're starting with data and you're getting lexicon. So that is also a good algorithm. Yeah.
But if it is if the data is given in another language, then
Yeah.
which
Then I think you can use Turny even if you have a WordNet. So in maybe see if in Indian languages have WordNets and all available as well to a certain extent. So there was a WordNet based algorithm also, so you can use that also. That was a simple one, but it was a good one. That also you can use, or you can use a Turny algorithm.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining the live session. We'll conclude the session for today.
Madam,
Yeah.
madam,
Yes. Yes.
to me, I'm interested in the implementation part.
Yes.
Could you please share some Jupyter notebooks or Google product notebooks?
Okay, okay. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Maybe just check the drive that in where I upload the PPT files. I'll add a Word document with links to Jupyter files or maybe YouTube videos which discuss programming related to NLP. I hope that would be okay.
Okay, ma'am. Actually, I'm more interested in text summarization.
You're interested in text summarization.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, okay. Um, text summarization. Okay, okay. I'll also have to search once, and whatever link I find, I'll add it in the Google Drive.
Okay. But actually, I want to text summarization for Marathi language
Okay, for Marathi language.
because I have seen the various codes for English language and too much implementation has been done in for English language. But
So
I
for
don't.
Marathi language, I don't think there is available. Even the latest research. So I'm not my specific research domain is not aligned with summarization, but I know few people who work on summarization. Even most people work on English. Currently, summarization to Indian languages is it's not that advanced. There are a few data sets available though. Okay, that work on it. So specific to Marathi, you won't find. If you find the English ones, you can just change a few things and use those for Marathi as well.
I have tried it so many times, but it does not work for Marathi language
So it's a bit different. So Marathi language is different from English. No? It's very different. So because of that, possibly. So
because I tried INLTP package also.
okay, okay, okay.
Listen,
Okay. So I'll just search maybe. I'll just search. So currently there are. So think I've heard for if you're working on this, I think I've heard about AI for Bharat. So just seeing, so they are the ones which if they have done on some, they have a data set on all these things on Indian languages that is there. So you can check that. Other than that, you can check their papers maybe. So if there is something that they would have done. However, what they have done maybe for all Indian languages you can apply, and for you specific use case you can use it for Marathi as well.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you everyone. We'll conclude the session for today. Thank you for joining.